I want to take a moment to compare and contrast science with ethics. I think that science is a discipline that most students are very familiar with at this stage in their education, at this stage in your education. And so, because we're getting started in a class that maybe you're less familiar with, ethics, I want to take a moment to compare and contrast the two. So let's start with the comparing. Let's start with the ways in which science and ethics are similar. And let's highlight two main ways in which these disciplines are similar. Um, let's recognize that both science and ethics aim for knowledge. That is to say that whether you're a scientist or an ethicist or a student in this ethics class, in either case, you are attempting to gain understanding about the world and or yourself as you exist in the world. Um, in the case of science, you are trying to discover scientific truths about yourself and or the world. In the case of ethics, we are trying to discover and discern ethical truths about the world and ethical truths about the society that we live in, hence ethical truths about our own lives. The second thing that both of these disciplines have in common is that they base knowledge and understanding on evidence. In science, the most common evidence probably is the scientific method, where we do research and experimentation and we repeat those experimentations in order to get consistent results. And we use that as evidence to prove hypotheses and other conclusions. In philosophy and ethics, as we've discussed previously, the primary evidence that will be used is rational evidence. We will be citing reasons for our views and for the arguments that are being made, and then we will test whether those reasons are true or false. We will ask ourselves if those reasons match reality, if they match the truth about the world, or if they don't. So in each case, we base our understanding on evidence. Okay, let's get to the main difference between these two disciplines. Let's say, or let's recognize that science is a descriptive enterprise. Science is descriptive. That is to say that science aims to describe the world. Science aims to tell us what is the case. What is the case? Emphasis on is. It's a mere description of what is true. And maybe I shouldn't say mere, because of course science is supremely important. But I want to emphasize that science is concerned with what is considered descriptive, what is the case. In contrast, ethics is concerned with prescriptive. Ethics is a prescriptive enterprise where we're trying to highlight a difference between describing and prescribing. We're not concerned in ethics with what is the case. We are concerned with what the case ought to be. What ought the case be? Or what should the case be? For instance, we are not concerned with what current practices are in our society or around the world. We are concerned with what current practices in our society ought to be. What should our society look like? So we are not describing, we are prescribing regarding ethics. And that is a fundamental difference between science and ethics.